known him for some time now, and since the early days that he was at Maker. I mean, unsurprisingly, lots of key people at Maker are Argentinian. I mean, like Mariano, yeah, of course, was the head of Oracles. And he has this excellent talk he gave at Osaka DevCon 2019. That was the last DevCon before COVID, where he was explaining how he lived in Argentina with the 50% inflation it was by then. And that's one of the best talks I've seen at DevCons. So do watch that one. It's in 2019. Everything he says is still valid now. So I saw that one, which is great. I saw one by Skylar. What's the last name? The guy from the Ethereum Foundation. I saw him also at Rio last time, and he explains really well. I mean, if you want to learn things about Ethereum plans, I mean, like scalability strategy or that kind of things in a quite simple way to understand, I mean, do watch his talks because they are all great. And I saw a couple more. So yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Yes, we also had Patricio from POAP explaining the origins of the protocol. It was very touching because he mentioned that he came from a like a low resources, low income neighborhood or city, and collected things that had no financial value. So that explains a lot about POAP. I was able to meet him and a couple more people like building this stuff, and also Alan, who contributed who's contributing to V2, also gave a workshop about Lens, and people from Lens protocol were present, and we will have a meeting in a couple of maybe a couple of days or weeks about Lens. Yes, the people from Lens were also bringing a lot of attention because it's something that like we have a lot of users in Argentina as well, right? Like people that don't want to be just consumers but also participate in the protocols, and I believe the social networks are like a good point of entry to Web3 and crypto. So that was interesting as well to see.
Well, great. So it was a great. I mean, I'm happy I missed it, but it's great to see that you could be there and there was Kleros presence. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well,
I also met a lot of people from the Argentinian Kleros community, and they are like super. They are a big family, and I was impressed that how close they are to. So
indeed,
hopefully
you're a big
in
family.
October.
October,
Yes.
we are going to do something as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So since you say October, so we, as you know, we're starting to plan our DevCon plan. So the only one of us that got his talk accepted for DevCon this time was, I mean, in case you wonder who the smartest one in the team was, I mean, of course, it's William. So congrats, William. I mean, I got rejected. Everyone else got rejected. So maybe you can tell us a bit about your updates and what you're planning to speak at DevCon.
Yeah, so I'm talking about soulbound tokens. So that's trendy. So that's probably why I got it, and not the other people. But the idea is that
yeah.
So like, and I'm currently working on the research that I hope to present in this talk. I have sort of like the core ideas, but there's always the sort of gimmick where you like promise to talk about something and then motivate yourself to do the research to fill in the details after it's accepted. So the idea is to think about how soulbound tokens can be used in juror selection. So already we had these ideas about how we could use Sybil-resistant mechanisms like proof of humanity to create courts where in order to stake in a court, you have to have some like beyond proof of humanity, which limits you to one vote per given case. But you could sort of extend this idea to requiring people to have other soulbound tokens being other curated lists. Maybe you get a soulbound token through applying for some kind of future humanity badge that says that you have expertise in a given field, and then that allows you to stake in a court where that expertise is required. And particularly sort of, at least mathematically interesting and relevant for Kleros, potentially, are sort of parallels of questions that were raised by Vitalik and the other people in sort of the like DSOC social choice, like soulbound token paper, where they try to like weight quadratic funding contributions to give extra funding to projects that have support from not necessarily just a wide variety of people, but a wide variety of communities, where you see that like communities are kind of identified by what soulbound tokens they have, so that if you have support from groups that have very different kinds of soulbound tokens, you should weight them more. And then maybe you want to do something like that for juror selection, particularly in kind of intermediate appeal courts, where you're drawing from child courts that had different kinds of expertise. You might want to like give weighting in the juror selection, so that you try to draw a panel of jurors that like gets the different kinds of expertises. And I'm thinking about how we can generalize the formulas that were developed for quadratic funding to kind of this juror selection weighting.
So thank you. That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Okay, and so that's your talk at DevCon. Then we are seeing what type of event we want to do there. If we can do some, side event as we typically do. Maybe Annabelle, I don't know if there was any update about that in the last 3 days.
Not really something we can communicate, except the hackathon. So if you guys attend, take note that the hackathon is happening before the conference. So we should book hotels and flights accordingly.
Cool. So that's for now. Then we will communicate when we have defined so for our side event, if we do one. Then we have a bunch of things regarding, as I mentioned, like the past few weeks. Well, we launched Moderate, which is a tool that we plan to use for social media content moderation. And this is a bot that you can use in your Telegram or your Discord. And then it uses like a type of escalation game with like reality. And it's used to, provide decentralized content moderation for lots of disputes happening in social media and communities. And this is almost already developed, and this week we start to plan deploying this in some test communities to see, to gather some initial feedback and see how it works. We have quite an interesting list of people who applied for the waitlist for starting to test it. It's still in beta. If you want to test this in your community, you can go to kleros.io/moderate, and then there's a button that you can fill a form, and then when you have free spot for you, we contact you. But we are still like in the early testing stages. And then also we have, as you know, Linguo, which we are putting a lot more of work. Technically Linguo is already launched. Now we are giving it more, let's say, love. And so we have a dedicated product manager who is Arjun. I don't think he's here, but I don't. Well, we are like developing a new like landing page, and then trying to put some translations for people to start doing more work there. You will see things moving quite faster soon. So those are the two products that we are working more like actively now. Then about D2, it's JB is not here, or I don't see him, but yeah, I mean, still in the development. Maybe I don't want to say dates because it's because then you're going to say, "Oh, Federico said this date, and you are 1 week late." It's coming. We have already done, of course, as you know, a couple of months ago, first demo. I mean, I expect that we will be able to do another demo in a couple of weeks. It's coming, and then also the fast bridge is also being developed. As you know, V2 requires fast bridge to send messages across, and so that's something that we are developing as well. So that's another thing that we are on. Then yesterday we had a bunch of. I know you want to know more about V2. I will ask JV to just write the updates on Telegram when he can, today or tomorrow. So don't worry. Yesterday we did a bunch of interviews for the fellowship. I mean, this is, the most highest, quantity and quality of candidates we got in all of the editions. I mean, any of those people are like, super qualified to do the fellowship. And I mean, we did, how many interviews did we do, Abir? Like 30 interviews? I don't know.
So far we've done well over 30 interviews. We've got, I think, around 7 or 8 scheduled again. And the quality of those remaining 7 or 8 candidates is something that in like a normal year before this, you would have end up hiring all 8 of them. But now we've basically, like, we're gonna have a lot of heartbreak right now, because we're gonna have lots of exceptional candidates that we're gonna have to drop, because it's crazy. I mean, I'm going on record and saying it. I'm lucky I was in the very first batch of the Kleros Fellowship, and Federico had no idea what he was doing, because if I tried competing against this batch, there's absolutely no way anyone would give me the time of day. So I'm super excited about what all these potential fellows bring in. But yeah, I think like the real the real problem will lie in actually selecting who we can get and who we should let go, which will be kind of disappointing ultimately. Maybe next time we should have like a 20 strong batch of the Kleros Fellowship or something, because the current crop that we're getting, they are going to bring some pretty interesting stuff which everyone might appreciate.
I mean, maybe we should like charge them to do the fellowship now. We have so many people interested, right?
Yeah, exactly. Turn ourselves into masters of Kleros fellowship sort of like thing. No, this actually happened among certain fellowship programs that I know, that this first started off as like these free sort of things where they'd like get people and cover their living expenses and all. But then as they got famous, they dropped that business model and started charging fees and accommodation and all like regular education businesses do. So that's something we can always consider, so always on the back burner.
I mean, we can like do like student loans. I mean, and then you can collateralize your the money you get with the future earnings that you are going to get after doing the fellowship and getting this increased earning potential, right?
I mean, that's great. Decentralized indentured servitude. I'm in.
I mean, I have a better name, like Lambda School. Let's call it Lambda School. Decentralized
Sure.
Lambda School. Okay.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay, so we have this is going. I mean, and also this is the first time that we closed, the deadline for this. I mean, applications on the exact day we said we would do it, and there were like no extensions or anything because we just couldn't. I mean, take more people for this one. So we have that is something we have been working very intensively, like this week. So okay, I already mentioned V2. I will ask JB to send the update himself. Then, well, William already mentioned DevCon. Let me see if I'm forgetting something. I don't think I have anything else for today. Maybe you guys, I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, we have like a bunch of other things. Next week we are going to have at this time the demo day for the incubator projects, and we are also about to launch the next incubator batch for well, supporting people who are building things on top of Kleros and contributing to the growth of the ecosystem. So this is going to start very soon. And what we are going to do also this time, so as you know, when people are taken into the incubator, we give them some money for the project, and also a lot of advice on what we have learned over the 5 years that we have been working at Kleros. And so we do a bunch of workshops, about strategy, about interviewing users, about the mechanism design, smart contract. We have also, legal elements to assess legal risks of projects. So, we kind of were asked many times if we could do this openly. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a little, let's call it Kleros course on a building on Web3. It's going to be a series of videos where we basically explain what we do in the workshops. And so if you are building a Web3 project, then you can use that as guidance of the different steps you need to follow for increasing your chances of success. So that's something we are also working on. It's about contents are there already, because that's what we use for the incubator workshops. But we need to record them and all those things. But we are soon going to release some of that, so you get into the cuisine of how to build the Kleros apps and and what we give the incubator projects. And also, in regards to education, we are also planning to do some in-person workshops on how to become a Kleros juror. As I mentioned in previous calls, now we kind of have a larger number of integrations, of some of which will be announced next week, hopefully. And this is also getting more cases. And now we just need not to worry only about getting more integrations, which is the demand side of the marketplace. Also, we need to have more jurors. And so that's why we are starting to plan a number of different activities that will help us get jurors in the different, verticals where we need them. I've been working on this a bit with Juan. Maybe Juan, you want to mention something about what we have been doing about the workshop?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Yes, you make a quite good summary, but basically we are talking with universities and to make this simulation of Kleros course and on different courses into also different degrees, so they can adapt Kleros methodology and also learn about Web3 basics, and this will enable them to keep on learning of their respective subjects. For example, an economist use game theory, a lawyer use, I don't know, the // case as an example, and this will create potential users for Kleros ecosystem, and also give all the academic institutions that use this program as a leverage to attract more students in the future.
Yeah, that's a good summary. So also this requires kind of a bit of, we want to make this as realistic as possible as what is actually using Kleros, but this requires a number of technical adaptations, because you need to make sure that jurors are drawn during the 2-hour workshop. So it's kind of we need to make some changes, but it's just technical elements that we are handling. And then if any of you would like to make Kleros workshop at your university or your community, we are interested in knowing that, because for now we are just going to do a couple of workshops in this university, and maybe another one I'm going to make in Colombia in the context of DevCon. Maybe I was invited by a bunch of universities to speak there, and I'm going to go there for a bit before DevCon. And so, well, if someone is from Colombia, they're in the audience, you can ping me and we can meet. And yeah, and also we want to make some of this workshop there. So yeah, and if you're not from Colombia, you can ping us anyway, because we still want to do the workshop in your place. And for now, we are just testing what is the best way to do it and what is the best, user experience for students, but also for universities who will host this. But we are interested in, as soon as we test this in 1 or 2 places, to start to scale it to many more places. And I guess that's it for today, guys. Do you have any question? Oh, Annabelle, maybe you have something to mention, or I forgot.
Not specifically for this week, apart from the update of the hackathon in Bogota that we are going to most probably co-organize. So you stay tuned if you want to register and participate in the physical event, of course. And yeah, again, we have to pay attention to the fact that the hackathon is for DEF CON before the conference. That is all.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, guys, and yeah, and I guess you can claim your POAP now.
Thanks a lot. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Everyone.